Hi everybody, it's Cindy here with Stamp and Chick Creations. I just wanted to hop on and show you a really fun technique that I just found, and I recreated it this morning and I was so excited I had to do a video on it. So let's get started and I'll show you the card. All right, so this is the card that I made this morning. I'm just going to move my light here. It's actually creating this really fun background, but you're never going to believe what I used to create the background. It's so much fun. All right, let's get started and I'll show you the secret ingredient and how quick and fun this card is to make. So this card actually uses the Hey Girlfriend stamp set, which I absolutely love. I think we need more fun and funky type stamps in our collection. So I really, really like this one. I think it's great for your friends to reach out, for young teens, that kind of thing. So let's get started and I'll show you what we need. So we have basic black cardstock. That's going to be our base. We have a piece of Whisper White, which is going to be our first layer. And then we need a piece of black. You're going to ask me the measurements on this, and I forgot to write them down. I just kind of cut. I winged it actually on this one. So this one is about 2 inches by about 3 3/4. Okay. And then you need a piece of Whisper White, which again, this will probably be like 1 3/4 by 3 just over 3.5. Okay, so 3 1/8 or 2/8, I mean. Okay, and then we have just a little piece of scrap paper that's about 2 1/4 by 1. Okay, and those are just really rough estimates. Okay, so what we need once we have all of our cardstock gathered, and I'm just doing black and white to keep it nice and simple. I'm going to use Magenta Madness as my ink color. I love Magenta Madness. And a piece of bubble wrap. So I am going to grab the package. So I actually purchased this at the dollar store at Dollarama. Protective wrap, $1.50 is what I paid for it at Dollarama, and it's 12 feet by 108 feet. So, sorry, 12 inches by 108 inches. Sorry, I was like, feet, that can't possibly be. And I found it actually in the stationery section, I believe, if I remember correctly. We were looking for something else, and I was like, oh yeah, I want to do that card. Okay, so what I did was I just cut off a piece. It's bigger than what I need, and that's okay. I'd rather it bigger than not big enough. So I'm going to open up my Magenta Madness, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, with the bubble parts up, I'm actually just going to ink this up. Now, I've already used this piece, so I'm not sure this is going to work with me re-inking it a second time, but I figured, you know what, we can try. Which would be even better, because if I could reuse the same bubble wrap more than once, that's even better. So depending on how the quality of your bubble wrap, I'm sure you'll get different looks. So I'm just going to take my bubble wrap and I'm going to very carefully set it. And I'm just very lightly tapping. And what that's doing is that is transferring the ink onto the white paper. So as I find the bubbles, I can kind of push a little bit. Now, this bubble wrap, I will tell you, is not good quality bubble wrap. It's pretty cheap bubble wrap. But when I take that off, that's the background that I get. So I thought that was really super fun. So when I say this isn't good quality bubble wrap, what I mean is like the bubbles are not full and they're not firm. So good quality bubble wrap or higher end bubble wrap would probably give you more circular patterns, whereas this one's kind of giving us like a blurred pattern. So I'm just going to clean up my ink pad because I just realized what a mess it made of my ink pad though, because the ink was kind of going onto the side. And because this is one of my newer colors, I want to keep my ink pad somewhat clean. Okay, so let me put that over there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this away because I think we're pretty much done with that. So that's pretty much it to the background. Isn't that fun? Okay, so I'm going to put my bubble wrap over to the side so I don't get myself into a lot of trouble with that. I have been creating all morning, so my fingers are really a mess. So my apologies. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the Hey Girlfriend stamp set, which if you have not seen the stamp set, OMG, I love it. It's so much fun. And so on this card, I used the girl with the shopping bag, and I think I might use her again. I'll see which ones actually fit on my paper. It's been a while since I've used this one. Oh, this one might work as well. Okay, so let's use this girl just for something different. And I'm going to actually just stamp her in black, basic black ink. Or Memento, I guess it's actually called. I still call it basic black. You can see my desk is a mess now, though. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp her onto my Whisper White. And then when I'm coloring, I prefer to use my blends now. I used to be a Stampin' Write marker person, but since we've had the blends, I'm in love, and I only use the blends to color with now. So I'm going to go ahead and take my Ivory blend, and I'm going to go ahead and color anything that I want skin toned, just so that I can kind of help me define where my other colors are going to go. Now, I do find sometimes even the chisel end is a little bit hard to get. It's almost too big sometimes. So I'm just very carefully around her lips because I might give her lipstick. Now you should be working in a circular motion with these. And I just find with the blend, like in some areas, it doesn't actually work so well to do them like that. So I kind of just color as if I was coloring, but you can see how she's coming to life already. So I'm going to color her legs as well in the same skin tone. And I did go out of the line there on that one, but I'm not going to worry too much because we do have a color lifter that I can actually go back and apply to help me lift some of that color off. Okay, so I think I have all of her skin tones done. So then what I'm going to do is I think I will do her headband and her flower next. Actually, let's do her dress next. Let's do her dress. I'm going to use the Magenta Madness, and I'm going to use the dark marker first, and I'm just going to go over the lines because this is where we want to highlight. And then I might just go along here on the bottom. And these are, again, these are alcohol based, right? So they are definitely different than our Stampin' Writes. And then I'm going to take my light Magenta Madness and just going in a circular motion, I'm just going to start blending those. Just being very careful around the lines though. So I can actually switch into the wider area. I can actually go into my paintbrush. I like to use a chisel end when I'm doing the really fine sections, but then when I get into the bigger area, I'm okay to move over to my paintbrush end. Okay, so now I'm going to actually make her belt, I think bright yellow, because I think, actually, you know what? No, let's not. Let's use Bermuda Bay for something different. So I'm going to use the chisel end. I'm just going to make her belt Bermuda Bay. Okay, and then I'll maybe take one of my grays and just do her buckle. There, like that. And now the top of her dress, I'm going to do in light Magenta Madness. Like that. And again, being very cautious around the line. So alcohol-based markers do tend to kind of spread more than the water-based. So you just want to be very, very cautious as you're coloring. Okay, so now I'm going to do her shoes as well. I think I'll do her shoes in Bermuda Bay though, because that will be like an accent to her dress. Okay, cute. Oh, isn't she adorable? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I want to do her hair. So I was going to do her, oh, actually we have to do her headband. Oh, jeepers. Okay, so let's do her headband first. So I'm going to do that in Bermuda Bay because that's our accent color. And then we'll do these flowers here. And I think what I'll do is I'll put a rhinestone in her headband in the center. All right. Isn't she adorable? Oh my gosh. Okay, so now her hair, I was going to do in brown. However, I think my brown crumb cake, I think is broken. Yes, it is. Okay, so I guess we'll do her in like a light yellow. How about that? We'll make her blonde. So we'll give her a So Saffron. So I'm going to do the dark So Saffron first. And again, I'm just randomly kind of highlighting areas where her curls might be. And then I'll come in with my light So Saffron. And I can use my paintbrush end. And just in a circular motion, blending in all those colors. Being cautious near the headband, but and there. Oh, isn't she precious? Look at her. So how about we give her some blue eyes because she's beautiful. Give her some blue eyes. And while we're here, we need to ground her. So let's just kind of put some lines down here. So she's grounded. She's not floating around. And what else does she need? She needs a little bit of lipstick. So I think what I'll do is I'll use a light pink for her lipstick. There, just because we don't want to give her any bright Magenta Madness lipstick. That would be craziness. So you can see how quickly she's been done, right? So now we're never done because we always need some Winkastella to dress her up. So we're going to put some Winkastella on her dress to give her some bling. I don't know if, yeah, you can see that. I love Winkastella. And we're going to put some in her hair. Okay, now, I said about putting a rhinestone in her headband. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in my rhinestones, and I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool. If you don't have a Take Your Pick tool, it's a must-have in every craft room. So you just use the rubber part here, and it picks up your rhinestones instead of trying to fight with it. All right, so now we are ready. I do have a little, you can see a little bit of ink here, so I might end up having to sponge her just to remove that. Okay, actually, I wonder if I can do this. Possibly. Let's see how that dries. Okay, so I just used the color lifter on that part where I had over colored, and then that will just lift off the color for us. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and use some dimensionals, which are someplace nice and safe right here. I love dimensionals, so anybody who crafts with me knows that I use a lot of dimensionals. I just find it's a very inexpensive way to add a little bit of dimension to your card without really having to spend a lot of money. And again, I'm using my Take Your Pick tool to lift off the backs of my dimensionals so that I just don't have to fight with them too hard. There we go. Take those off. And you do find these backings everywhere, just so you know. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this down, hopefully straight and even would be ideal. That's not too bad. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. Now I am all out of my Stamp and Seal, so I'm going to have to use my old glue, which I have to use a fair amount of because it's not really as strong as I would like. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue my background down onto my black base. I can put my friend here. Now the other thing I want to do is I'm going to bring in my craft ink, and I'm going to use maybe just a Hey Girlfriend or Always Be Yourself. I like that one, Always Be Yourself. We used to have a stamp that said Always Be Yourself, nobody else is qualified. There's nobody else qualified or something to that effect, which I think is a saying from one of the cartoon characters, if I remember. Okay, so this is white crafting. So crafting does take a little bit longer to dry generally. But I'm going to actually stamp Always Be Yourself, hopefully straight, onto my basic black. Okay, and I don't know why this whole set, every time I stamp it, it is a little bit eh. Okay, and I think it's just the font and potentially the person doing the stamping. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my scissors, and I could take my punch and do this as well, but I find when these smaller pieces, I prefer to actually just do it by hand. So I'm just cutting in the center, and I'm going to flag this, and then I'm bringing it up to the center, and then up this way to the center. And then this will actually sit here-ish. Okay, so let's go ahead and put some dimensions on this Always Be Yourself. Because again, we like dimensionals. And come on. Oh, I already got that one. Try and take something off that's already off. Okay. So I'm going to put this about here. And then dimensionals for this one. You can see how quick and easy this card is. So just dollar store bubble wrap, guys. So, and I'm sure if you've been ordering online, you've probably been getting bubble wrap in, like packages and stuff. I know the ones that I get from Stampin' Up! Are actually much bigger bubbles. Like the circle is much larger. So I don't know how that would look on a background, but I'm kind of tempted to try it. Okay, so we need an inside. We always need an inside. And maybe what I can do is, I was going to do the little kitty cat on the inside, but it's not assembled. So, oh, that's not even white. Okay, that's not white. So, okay, I'm not going to do that actually, because apparently I'm all out of white cardstock here. I'm using very vanilla, and that's going to look silly. Okay, so anyway, I would stamp this. I would put my Whisper White inside, and I would maybe stamp my little kitty right there in the corner, right? And how adorable would that be? Okay, and I don't have any more white paper cut. So you can see how quick and easy that card came together in just a very few minutes, maybe 15 minutes tops. And such a cute card. So give this technique a try with different bubble wraps and see how you make out. I'd love to see your samples, so be sure to post them on my VIP page or even email me. So be sure to be sure to like and follow this page and this channel and invite your friends. Okay? Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.